Retail ghost shops. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, I'm Florian Heise, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've got my faithful stein of coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at this article from the Daily Mail Australia sent to me by a viewer, dealing with ghost shops, or empty retail spaces that are becoming more and more common. Now, I did a video looking at Australia Fair, all the empty spaces there that were getting filled up with knickknacks, rubbish, and turned into like reading rooms and anything they could to hide the fact that they had empty tenancies. Yeah, send us examples. Let us know in the comments if what it's like in your area, if you're seeing it. I know when I'm driving, through the suburb, I'm seeing the local little, suburban shopping area, police, empty shops. So Australia's retail apocalypse leads to ghost shops popping up on a once thriving strip as owners are unable to afford to keep them open. There's the thing that gets a point where it's not worth it. I know we left our retail shop front because it's just there's a daily cost associated with it that after a while it just isn't worth it. But I mean, we're architects, so foot traffic for us is nothing. A beachside business strip has transformed into a ghost town as businesses shut up shop due to rising costs. Brighton-Le-Sands, a bayside suburb in Sydney's south, has become a victim of Australia's retail apocalypse. Grim photos posted on a community Facebook page show a once busy Bay Street filled with empty shops with police signs adorning the windows. I mean, there you go. Among the vacant premises used to be a popular pizzeria on the strip a short walk away from the water foreshore. A formal wear shop that was once next door also appears vacant. We're going to have here, there you go. Guys. Kind of sad, isn't it? And this is it in 2015. We have to look at it now. Empty. Empty. Another empty building with a ground floor shop and first floor office suites advertised for lease signs was once a video shop, where the faded sign still hangs. A lot of businesses have closed down, and in some cases for years now, spaces are sitting there empty. One man posted on the Brighton-Le-Sands 2216 page. I see the for lease signs, but nobody seems to be leasing. Whether it's the prices or competition, or the owners for whatever reason don't want to lease it out, I'm not sure. I counted 6 within 20 meters of each other. I know some of those buildings are going to be demolished and rebuilt, but the for lease sign is still there, so the rebuild probably won't happen for a while longer. The post sparked an online debate among the locals who identified a wide range of reasons for the precinct's downfall, from soaring business rents and lack of variety to overdevelopment, parking, and visitors not spending money. I mean, that's the thing, guys. How many people just don't have the money to spend these days? Wage growth is non-existent, and that cuts into discretionary spending. When we travel, we'll bring a packed lunch, we'll bring a picnic. As a local for the past 34 years, I can tell you it's gone downhill. Lots of factors to blame. The lack of policing has exacerbated the problem. So is there a crime issue there? Overdevelopment with no foresight into parking and other amenities. It's little wonder the precinct has gone down the toilet. Then you all wonder why businesses don't last long, and others who might consider Brighton as a venue for their business run for the hills, a long-time resident commented. Another added, such a shame. Brighton could be such a cool suburb and thrive. Weren't they going to build a pier too? It could have been so family-orientated and a nice suburb with things to do and see. One local told Daily Mail Australia business rents in the dying precinct were too expensive, a view echoed by many others on Facebook. Over the years, I've seen them come and go. One store owner said she couldn't afford the rent anymore, so she packed up, one woman commented. Others blame visitors for the area's downfall. The crowd that come to Brighton aren't young and don't spend any money. The oldies don't want to go either because of the young hooligans. Down the road at Ramsgate, businesses are thriving, one commented. Another added the clientele are not spending and are also causing locals to not shop there for numerous reasons. It looks busy, but shops were not making any money. Daily Mail Australia contacted Bayside Council for comment. The precinct is currently subject to stage master plan by the council, which initially looked at parking before examining retail, land use and urban design issues in the village centre. A review of the precinct in 2017 found that while the centre is a weekly shopping destination for residents and includes entertainment and eateries, there was a low vacancy rate for commercial and retail shopfront, the St George leader reported. So here you go. So guys, here we have a continuation of the retail recession in a suburb down in southern Sydney. Now, do you think this is a sign of the times? Do people not have sufficient money to spend? Or is it just perhaps this particular precinct? Could it be due to the crime? Could it be due to other issues? Do you live there? Do you know someone there if this is what we're seeing? I mean, how many other places are we seeing empty shops all around the country, guys? How many other places are we seeing? I mean, if we jump here, let's have a look. You can see all of these empty shops, one after the other, after the other, after the other. Is it like that in your area? Is it like that where you're shopping? So let me know in the comments below if this is something similar where you live, where you shop, your precinct. We're seeing more and more of the retail recession, the retail apocalypse happening around Australia. It seems to be every day there's another thing. What I'll do is I will attach to this video now a portion from my video about Australia Fair, just how quiet it was happening there and what they were doing to try and hide the fact that they've got so many empty tenancies, just in case people haven't seen it. Anyway guys, thank you. Please like, share and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now. We thought we would have a look at Australia Fair. Now, Australia Fair is in the northern portion of the Gold Coast, in Southport, and it has quite a history. It's also a little tired. And I noticed something. When I was walking around, I'd noticed a lot of shops that were not really empty, but were repurposed for other uses. So I grabbed my phone and I decided to record some footage just to put something together to share with the audience, really to get you all to talk about the retail centers around Australia. Now, I watched the Dead Mall series in America. There's a whole bunch of YouTubers where they go and they film these dead malls and they put it all to music and they do a really good job. This is not that. More so because I didn't take any of my special equipment. It was just on my phone, so you need to forgive the camera shake. And our malls are not as drastically affected as those in the United States. We have a very high square meter rate per population, but not as high as the US. It's just crazy over there. So Australia Fair was originally built in 1983 and it was known as Scarborough Fair, and it was anchored by a Franklin's. In 84, it incorporated a Coles and Kmart, so it had 3 anchors, which was reasonable. In 89, it doubled its size, extended through the Narang Street Mall, and it had the Coles, Woolworths, and Franklin's there as retail tunnels, as well as Kmart, so it had 4 of them. Now, there was a mall next to Australia Fair, which no longer exists anymore. It kind of died. I know this area because my mother had a hair salon further up Marine Parade. So during primary school, I would come and play and we'd hang out at Australia Fair in the mall. But in 1990, so it was renamed to Australia Fair on the 10th of April. It cost $300 million to complete. At completion, and I'm quoting this from Wikipedia, Australia Fair had the largest concentration of specialty shops in the Southern Hemisphere. It was the only shopping centre in the Gold Coast, let alone the nation, with 3 supermarket chains at the time, Woolworths, Coles and Franklin. In 91, the 52,000 square metre shopping development is the first of its kind in Australia, one of the largest in Queensland. I remember visiting then as a child with my parents on holiday from Victoria. We went here and we had a look. So in 93, there's an extension to introduce a 6-centre cinema. In 95, Fashion Boulevard and Broadwater Food Court. In 97, 98, the extensions were completed and the cinema was expanded from 6 to 10. So 98 to 99, Colonial First State bought it into a joint venture ownership of Australia Fair with MPEC. 2001, Gordon Fu purchased Australia Fair from Colonial First State. And 2002 to 2004, $2.7 million was spent on upgrading to the flooring, directional signage, and amenities. So just remember that. They spent $2.7 million to upgrade the amenities. We're going to look at some of those here. So what I thought we'll do is we'll just jump here to this video footage that I recorded, and I'll just talk over it. So this is the across the street from the parking. So you can just see, you know, the center. It's looking a bit tired. It hasn't been cleaned. It's quite dirty on a lot of the facades here. And I mean, the style, it's aging. So you can see some of the discoloration on the panels there and just the old office building, typical Gold Coast palm lights. And this is where palm trees. This is when we went inside, I noticed a lot of these type of spaces. So this was a huge retail footprint there that's just either used as an eating area and it was all closed down. So it's not being leased out. You know, it's not being leased. It's used as just dead space here. We can see here a bit further up, you've got this book swap there, and that was interesting. They're repurposing these empty shops, trying to make it more alive and more vibrant. But I was just shocked at seeing this much floor area there empty. And literally just across the other side of the mall there, you had another shop completely closed up with the hoarding there, and they've put, you know, signage on there and a bit of decoration. But I mean, that's another large retail tenancy that is completely empty. And further up the mall, you've got more of these where they've allowed other tenants to put installations into the space. You know, another little shop completely empty. So it's not as depressing as the United States. Here we go. We've got another one. And this is, you know, we had the large eating area that was completely closed off because this was a Sunday when we were going on to visit. And you can see here, this is another tenancy, which is the lounge. You know, you can sit and relax in peace. You've got to supervise your children, but it's literally crappy fake carpet, tiles popping up, and some garden chairs there. That's the lounge. I mean, they need to do something to these spaces at a low cost. Here is one of the amenities. This was the parents' room, and this is one we all know, and you can see Frederick and the kids playing, and they play pen with absolutely nothing in the pen. Remember, they spent $2.7 million upgrading the amenities. I think they forgot that one. So here we are. We're walking further down the mall, and you can just see how, you know, it's obviously the architecture of the time is coming through. And forgive the camera bump. I do have a handheld thing. I'll get that later. And we can see as we're approaching or turning the corner here, there's more shops in the distance that are just empty and everything's, you know, for sale. And I'm panning way too quick. You know, and you've got, you know, the escalators, you know, going up and down to the car park. And here we have another empty shop in the distance. And again, to my right, another empty shop. You know, where they've enclosed it in with hoarding and put all the advertising for the center there. You know, in the center, they're trying to hide the fact that these tenancies are completely empty. Completely empty. You know, are you seeing this more and more in the shopping centers around? Is this a sign of the recession that retail is hitting, particularly for the smaller ones? I was just surprised how many of them were like this, that they had to close in. Where am I going here? Well, here you go. And then I walked further on and I discovered another one just with the hoarding up there. So it's a good opportunity to invest in hoarding, perhaps. And, you know, we had a mix of people there. Now, this was across the end of the mall, across the road. And this is some of the offices there. And frankly, it was a very, very sad and, shall we say, somewhat depressing space. And we're just looking at the approach from the car park here. And then we'll go back and we'll have a look at the walkover. And you can see here's the car park space here. You know, with some of the medical precincts, but they are also playing with transitions. So there are a few, you know, a dental clinic here and some offices that are obviously closed at this time. But there are a few empty tenancies as well over here. And you can see it's just feeling very tired and old. And further up, you've got another, like a hidden away tenancy. And through to the left, you'll see the connection over to the mall, to the rest of the center. And we'll walk through that, and it's getting quite... Its age is starting to come. There's definitely some maintenance work that needs to be done. There's some tiles popping here that, you know, need replacement. Some cracked ones on the floor. And here I found, you know, there's a gymnasium to the left, which is probably giving it a fair bit of activity. Here, little tenancy just completely, you know, hidden away there. I don't know how much foot traffic you'd get from people coming from the car park, maybe from the gymnasium, but I mean, that would be a hard one to activate, and a difficult one to make any money. And this is in Southport, where a lot of apartment buildings have come up, a lot more activity has happened. And this is the approach. We're walking across the connection over the street here. And we can just see the, I mean, you can see what they've done is they've plugged up all of the louvers with just some little core, hollow core, and it's all weathered and starting to rust. The paint's chipping off. I hope none of that paint's lead-based. You know, because people are holding their hands there, and you can see it's staining here. Its age is starting to show. It certainly is. You can see here, I noticed over here, I mean, look at all the just the peeling, and it needs a bit of love. We go through into the center here. And here on the right, where I just was, there's another empty tenancy that's closed up. I was surprised how many of them were closed, even at this time on Sunday. I'm used to, in Brisbane, all of them being open. And here's Rachel in this large play area, another play area for children. You know, which is great as a parent. You know, it's fine. They've got stuff to play with. The kids were having a ball. But that's not really going to make them any money. You know, are you going to go there as a parent just to play in this little space? So, yeah, another one empty. Another hoarding. And here we have an approach to the right. There is the cinema. You got, you know, Hungry Jack's and a few food premises there. So the upper story of, because it's a two-story complex, the upper story was the one with the larger number of empty tenancies there, or spaces that had been converted to these additional uses. Food bank advertising. And I have a look here at just the planning to see what the quality is in there. It's all the fake plants and the stuff in there. It's not too bad. At least they've kept it clean. And this is the book swap, and I just have an image there to show you. It's where you go in and swap a books, and there's Otilia playing. You know, the kids were having a ball. The book swap was an odd one, and it's just showing you an image of the center there. So, guys, that was kind of my day trip to Australia Fair, and I was surprised at the number of empty tenancies that were there that were repurposed. You know, Australia Fair was one of the more exciting shopping centres on the Gold Coast, and now it's in many ways it's been left behind, particularly by Robina Town Centre. Just the scale they have there, or even Pacific Fair, the amount of money that's getting ploughed into these retail centres. But is it going to be worth it? And just think how many of the other ones are owned by super companies. So guys, let me know if you like these type of videos. Should I get my equipment to get rid of the camera, the camera wobble, and do it a bit better? You know, let me know in the comments. Let me know about your other retail shopping centers where there's a lot of empty spaces, or stealthily converted spaces that unless you think actually looking for wasted retail space, thinking, oh wait a minute, that's not a real shop. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Take care.